had a dream of our people's future. It was glorious.
He's good at what he does, right?
Oh, he's the best. He has no imagination.
Not like you.
Listen, if you're gonna perform Inception, you need imagination.
How complex is the idea?
Simple enough.
No idea is simple when you need to plant it in somebody else's mind.
So, feigning out is the big reveal.
Get involved. You can roam, but you can't hide. Yes, faint outs, but not self-destruct faint outs.
Like those seen on some of Hanger's recent Gen 4 hunts.
Which, by the way, will also receive new method videos soon.
No, in Gen 2 we use poison feint outs.
This is more beneficial than self-destruct faint outs.
Because you can do it literally anywhere on the map. Like in a house, gatehouse, surf, or in the grass, whereas self-destruct, feigning out can only be done in a place where you can encounter wild Pokemon or trainer battles.
But all you need to know for this first method is that you will be fainting out. Not why, or what it does. Here is how you set it up. Alternately, feel free to use the roam.sav file provided with this video. Another mechanic to understand is how you can control the other roamers' positions via battling one of them. You basically have two options. Master Balls lock them in position, or you can run once to shuffle them.
Is to go even further beyond!
So now that we understand the setup, it's time to go ahead and perform the method. So you take one step up to release the dogs from the burned tower. You watch the animation of them leaving the burned tower. Once they're done, you take one step down and you immediately poison feint out straight
to Mahogany Town. From here, we'll bike west to Route 42.
On your screen, you will see what Route 42 looks like and what it looks like to land a roamer on that route.
All of the encounters during this method take place right here on Route 42. So, when you first arrive on Route 42, you are going to dex check for Entei and then Suicune in that order. Ignore Raikou, there is no reason to check it just yet. Note how we start in A to Z mode and then switch to old dex mode to navigate the dex quickly.
Suicune is on Route 39, which is not a good route if you ever see Entei on Route 36 or Suicune on Route 39,
you can ignore it for the rest of that reset. Now, we'll turn on Pokemon March and encounter the Entei we landed. Only specifically after running from a roamer encounter do we check for Raikou, which is what you will see now.
So now at this point, we dex check for Raikou, and sure enough, in this particular scenario, it jumped on our route. We know we can't pull Suicune in, so we just simply soft reset and continue.
Here we are again after fainting out to Mahogany. As last time, dex check Entei and then Suicune in that order. Entei is on our route again.
Suicune is on Route 37, which is a great route because it's adjacent to Route 42.
This means Suicune could jump to our route after we run from the Entei. The same would apply for Entei should it be on Route 38 with us encountering Suicune. Now we're going to run from Entei and try to pull in Suicune and Raikou.
So we check Suicune, and sure enough, Suicune landed on our Route 42. Let's take a look at Raikou, and look at that. We landed both roamers right after landing an Entei encounter. We call that a trifecta.
So now, knowing that both Raikou and Suicune are on our route, we are going to Master Ball the first one that we come across to freeze the position of the other roamer and ensure that we can encounter both on this route. Once again, after fainting to Mahogany and moving out to Route 42, dex check for Entei, then Suicune.
Both Entei and Suicune have started off on Route 42. This will happen about 15% of the time. And just like last time, when we had Raikou and Suicune both on the same route, we went ahead, we used our Master Ball.
This will lock the other roamer in position on your route. Then on your second encounter, you're going to run away, and remember that whenever we run from an encounter doing this method, we check for Raikou. I'm also going to restate how important Pokemon March is for increasing encounter rates in the grass. The only other situation you have to be aware of is where you don't land Entei or Suicune on Route 42 to begin with. Simply soft reset. Take a moment to pause and understand the uses and setup for the Rt.38-32 poison method. So, for this method, you need to understand that fainting out locks the roamer in position.
I've been thinking about some new strategies.
It's essentially a free teleport that breaks the roaming mechanic. So the entire premise of this method is being able to feint out to the Route 32 Pokemon Center at will and land encounters. We're going to kick off by showing you what freebie encounters look like straight off the bat. So every time you start the game up, you'll exit the gatehouse and dex check. If the roamer starts on Route 32, simply take one step to feint out to the Route 32 Pokemon Center, put on Pokemon March, and land your encounter. It's important to understand that going in and out of the gatehouse will not count as steps towards the poison feint out. This here on Route 32 is where the majority of your encounters will take place. For Route 38, simply apply an antidote or full heal so you don't feint out, then go and land your encounter. Take note that the only time you'll ever encounter here is straight off for reset, when you first move out into the route. Once you have gone back into the gatehouse, any further attempts will be route blocked. Every other encounter during this method will involve fainting to Route 32. So, these are the only examples where you will exit the gatehouse and have an encounter ready to go. More often than not, you will have to put in some work to land them, which we will guide you through next. If this method looks interesting and accessible, we have again provided a ROM save file which you can pull into an emulator or write to your cartridge and be ready to go. Consider trying it out. Next up, we have the one shuffle routes. So for Route 33, simply exit or enter the gatehouse one time and dex check to see if the roamer has landed on Route 32. If so, feint out, put on Pokemon March and get your encounter. If not, follow the instructions for whichever new route it is on. The process remains the same for Route 31 and Route 36. We will show you those sped up real quick as well. Note the multi-roamer battle strategy as discussed earlier. You can use Master Balls to pin them in position or run away to pull other roamers to you. This is more fun, but these are advanced moves that aren't required. It can be helpful when you are targeting more than one roamer. Another thing to note is the Pokédex optimizations discussed earlier. Those are also applicable when you're doing this method. So depending on what you are doing, you may want to dex check Entei in A to Z mode and then switch to old dex mode to check the other two. Now for the two shuffle routes. So we're going to look at route 34. Go in and then immediately out of the gatehouse, or vice versa, to complete two shuffles. Then dex check to see if the roamer has landed on route 32. If so, feint out. If not, try again depending on which new route it is on. The process remains the same for route 30, 35 and 37. Once again, we will show you those being landed on route 32 sped up. I will also take this moment to remind you, going in or out of the gatehouse does not count towards your poison steps, so you can do this an infinite number of times. And one final reminder to use Pokemon March. It becomes very important when the mons per hour becomes this high. Hopefully by this point you understand the method and what is required. Here we've shown it being used to target Raikou, but you can use it in pretty much any configuration on any of the free games, targeting as many roamers as you would like. We still have one more scenario to cover, which we will get to, but first, while showing these examples, consider if you have any questions. Leave them in the comment section below. Either me or Rich will get back to you with assistance. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video and appreciate the work we've put into these roamers, please share it, and remember to like and subscribe to the channel. One last thing to mention are the bad routes, so if at any point the roamer is located on any of these 7 bad routes, then simply soft reset and try again. This action is obviously more likely if you are just going for one. If you're going for all 3, it's less likely to be required.
It will carry us to our new home. The Star Father has promised me that it will work. It may look like a thing of make-believe, but we will make it work with the Star Father's blessing.